You're listening to the Good Question Podcast with Richard Jacobs. Our goal is to make each of our guests exclaim, that's a good question. I don't know the answer. Because when that happens, it means you, the listener, may be inspired to learn more beyond the interview and to ask great questions yourself that lead to new insights. In this podcast, we cover historical and current anthropology, comparative religion, and history. Welcome, and let's get started.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Good Question Podcast. I have two guests today, Anthony Lollis and TereZa Hakobyan-Lolli. They're documentary filmmakers, real estate developers, and Anthony, I believe, looks like the editor-in-chief of Biohack Yourself Media and Biohack Yourself National Magazine. So we're going to talk about what they've learned from 35-plus top health experts. We're going to talk about MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. So this should be a very interesting podcast. So welcome, guys, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, how did you get in front of 35 health experts, and how did you get into this whole arena? It seems like you guys are into a lot of things. What is this about? What prompted you to get into the subject?
First of all, 35 would be a cakewalk. It was over 200 health experts we actually met in front of. We are documentarians. We're experiential documentary filmmakers. We run, own, and operate a company called Lolli Brands Entertainment, and under that umbrella, we do experiential documentaries. One of the first ones to do that was Morgan Spurlock when he did Super Size Me, where he ate McDonald's for a year.
Yeah, it was a good movie. Yeah, and the greatest movie ever sold. I mean, the other one pretty good.
Right, love that movie. Love his work. We actually did some real estate stuff together before he passed, and really good guy. And we were inspired by that, and we decided to do our own experiential documentaries in the health and wellness space. Starting with my transformation, I used to be 315 pounds. I'm 5'8". I was morbidly obese and literally knocking on death's door. And thanks to my wife, who was MAHA, Make Anthony Healthy Again, before my place. And so she decided to take the reins and become the health advocate and the health detective of our family. So we did a documentary that broke viewership records. It was watched and streamed globally, internationally, hundreds of millions of times. And it was a big success and put us both on the map as a couple that is relentless when it comes to health transformations. And then from there, we did a docuseries about my wife, who added a lot of relatability. We have two kids together, Love Lolly and Legend Lolly. They're part of our portfolio. And she had gained like your normal, typical mom bod.
Well, I've always been an athlete as a former ping pong champion, competitive swimmer, competitive ballroom dancer. That was very important to me to always look my best. But after our second child, I actually had a condition that was called diastasis recti.
I know that one.
Right?
I have that right now. You lay down on you lift up and your stomach like humps in the middle. It's weird.
And this is something that shocks me so much, that this condition goes undiagnosed and it doesn't get the respect that it needs to get. And yes, men get this condition as well. Children get this condition, but majority of moms who give birth to twins or larger children, they almost are guaranteed to have this condition. It could lead to complications later on, to osteoporosis and weakening of the spine, etc. But I discovered it, and when I saw, that Anthony was able to reverse his obesity of 41 years in just 9 months, I knew he had found a secret. And the secret was weightlifting, meal prepping, weightlifting, and really having a coach. And not just one coach, actually. He worked with multiple coaches, multiple trainers, and really understood the art of bodybuilding, the art of just understanding your body parts, your muscle, the entire structure. So he trained me. It's the family joke, right? The former obese guy was training a former athletic champion. And within 8 months, he was able to shape me up into a body that was able to go and compete. So we were set to...
I can you didn't have like 10 more kids after this happened.
Yeah, but we decided to go ahead and really do an international tour of competition. We fell in love with the world so much much the fitness competition world. And we wanted to bring that out to the masses, to the average person, really explain what it's like to have a life as a competitive fitness athlete. So we did that. And within 7 months, we competed in 6 federations and stepped on stage about 35 times combined. I actually became a 2-time bikini pro, and Anthony transitioned into a muscle model pro. And it's a very intriguing documentary series. We were awarded 13 Best Documentary Series awards for that one. It was selected to play at the AMC Theater during Sunscreen Film Festival. It was really well received because of the authenticity and the detail and really the fascinating world of fitness. So after that, we were commissioned to do a few other documentaries in the fitness world. One was about the plastic surgery. And again, this is a part of our journey, right? Because Anthony actually had a plastic surgery to get rid of his loose skin. So by popular demand, we produced a loose skin surgery documentary that was just focused on pre-surgery, during surgery, and post-surgery and what that entails. And it was very, very exciting how we were able to capture it with the same surgeon that did Anthony's surgery, because his business actually blossomed from it. So he was so excited to do a documentary where he was the star of it, and he explained everything. He's now a personality brand on Instagram. He opened up 2 new locations, and he's doing really well for himself. And then the 4th documentary was the most star-studded bodybuilding documentary about George Farah, who used to be the coach of the coaches. He trained The Rock, he trained Dexter Jackson, he trained so many pros and so many celebrities. But unfortunate events happened in his life where he was shot 3 times and the lead stayed in his body later on, causing cancer. And he lost his clients, unfortunately. But he is one tough cookie. He beat the cancer and he was ready to make a big comeback. And he knew he needed us to revive his name, his career, and launch everything that he wanted to launch. So we casted 30 of the world's leading bodybuilders to come to this documentary and collectively tell George Farah's story, which was nothing short of humbling. And we gained 19 film awards for this documentary called The Guru. All of our documentaries are streaming on Amazon, Plex, Roku, all the major streaming platforms. And George was able to launch his book, his supplement company. He's now a sought-after speaker and a coach. And it was very, very, very good. What we set out to do, we did. Now, at the time, really cool. Yeah. So you're asking how we jumped into the biohacking world. It was almost a natural transition, right? As bodybuilders, we had worked our bodies so hard that even when we looked our best, we didn't feel our best. We knew that there were some other things that needed to be done. Now, alongside of this entire journey, while we were filming and producing all 4 documentaries, I had found functional medicine world because of our son Legend, who had silent acid reflux. I had dug in already, found solutions, fixed his mold infection that he had. So was already a believer, was already a big kind of an educator of myself of how to live a natural lifestyle. So when we met the guy named Stephen Klein, introduced by Judy Sahagian, which is one of our close friends, and Stephen mentioned, he said, "Oh, you guys are basically biohackers." And I was like, "Not really." He said, "Yeah, there's a whole world out there. It's called biohacking." So that caught my interest. And I told Anthony, I was like, "We got to do a documentary about biohacking." So we set out to interview 114 of the world's leading experts in this world. Not only influencers, experts, but also founders, scientists, doctors. I mean, incredible cast that we have. All 5 parts are now streaming live on Amazon. People can go watch. Make sure you take your notebooks because there's a lot of information and a lot of call to action. What we wanted to create was a solution-based documentary. And we didn't stop there. We went further and we dug into the women's health and filmed a 3-part documentary called Shield, where we interviewed 77 of the world's leading female health experts, regenerative experts. I mean, incredible people that are doing, mycoplastic detoxes and pushing menopause by 10 years. Crazy things that are being achieved by these experts. And that's set to be released by the end of this year, beginning of next year. This is
really cool.
the industry, yeah.
I guess I was going to ask you, ballroom dancing, what form did you do? Smooth or rhythm, or did you guys do?
Cha-cha-cha and jive and tango, my favorites, and samba also.
Oh, very nice. But and Anthony, how much did you lose? You went from 315 down to what?
177. The documentary is called From Fat Lolly to Six-Pack Lolly, the ultimate transformation story. Ultimately, I lost 150 pounds. And then we did multiple documentaries since then, and I've helped, I don't know, tons of people lose weight globally, stopped a lot of suicide, and helped a lot of the dads and moms regain their life back.
It's really cool and amazing. And it makes sense, right? From the bodybuilding to the biohacking world. So it's all right. Well, yeah, keep going. I just wanted to get a couple not what you guys did. But
The way you lead the way. Sure. Tell me what you want to know.
yeah, so how did you interface with, Make America Healthy Again and the experts you interviewed there?
Yeah, well, we casted Bobby Kennedy when he was running for president. He was looking for specific alignment and exposure with his presidential campaign. And we had a lot of mutual friendships and relationships. And we're a bipartisan couple. We've supported people on both sides of the aisle. We're from New York originally, so we have friends on the Democratic side. We have friends on the Republican side. And so when the opportunity to interview Bobby was perfect. And he was already on the health kick. The word Maha wasn't invented yet, but we discussed his incredible body that you could see that he was doing pull-ups and push-ups, which he did in the documentary as well. And then consequently, after we finished filming Biohack Yourself, he ended up throwing his hat in the ring with President Trump, and he joined forces with Del Bigtree, who was running campaign and the CEO of MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. And Del Bigtree is famous in his own right for his advocacy. He did Vaxxed. He produced Doctors. He produced Dr. Oz, a lot of different shows. He's a very
I spoke to him once a few years ago. He was a good guy.
Amazing guy. Stuck his neck out for a lot of people. And finally, it's paying off, in terms of changing lives and saving lives. So TereZa ended up casting Del Bigtree and in Shield, which is She Healed, another documentary, the sister documentary to Biohack Yourself. This one is all focused on female health, She Healed, and it's got 77 of the biggest names. We put Gary Brecka in it. He's a great friend, and he's actually on the cover of our next magazine coming up because we wanted to know what he does for his wife, Sade. What is the most famous and well-versed biohacker do for his own family? So he's got daughters, he's got a wife, he's got a bunch of stuff going on. And so we picked his brain for the documentary for the world. So being involved with Bobby and Del Bigtree, there was an opportunity that presented itself where they were doing their first inaugural Maha Ball in Washington on Inauguration Day, January 20th. Very dangerous day, very cold day, very, you never know what's going to happen to anybody in the room day, especially when there was assassination attempts. We took the opportunity to kind of help and advocate and provide media coverage on that day. And 53 people from Biohack Yourself and Lolly Brand's media team, we flew down and we set up shop at the Waldorf Astoria. We brought 5 journalists. All of them were from either our documentaries, Biohack Yourself or Shield, double and triple board certified medical doctors, pediatricians. We were interviewing people like Jordan Peterson and Bhattacharya and Dr. Oz and everybody that has now been officially confirmed. And it was an epic night. It was a night to remember. It was a night that everyone came and spoke on camera. We got 1,000 pieces of content. Remember, at that time, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was not confirmed. In fact, they were after him. And there was a bunch of propaganda out there about, 17,000 doctors saying he's unqualified and, he shouldn't be doing all the kind of different things that happened that came to light during his confirmation. However, what was critical for that night was to show the world that the donors and the people that were backing him as president were still backing him for HHS director, because there was messaging out there saying, he doesn't have the same backing. And everybody came, interviewed with Biohack Yourself, stepped on the Biohack Yourself red carpets. The magazine, Biohack Yourself magazine, was there. TereZa and I were there, and we brought our kids there, and that's how much we were all in. It was that or nothing. So,
Yeah.
and
No, I know Bobby Kennedy has worked from Children's Health Defense for years around the risk. They always put out great info. So it's terrible that these people are attacked like this over and over and over.
Not anymore.
yeah, there's attempts. Listen, we live in the United States of America. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in all of those things. So I don't blame. And I also believe that most people are genuinely just talking from their POV. You know, a lot of people went to school. A lot of people, their algorithms are feeding them what is confirmation bias. So I understand where people, you know, health is a religion. You know, make no mistake about it. You know, some people adopt the religion of, you know, extreme pharmaceutical and, you know,
extreme homeopathy.
Let's say extreme homeopathy. So
Seen that.
we've seen it too. So, you know, we understand. We're very, very reasonable people. But, you know, no one knows about health crisis more than us because I was a fat guy and ready to die being fat. I told my wife, leave me alone. I want to die fat and happy.
Not
Okay.
gonna happen.
My wife
Tell me a bit about that. When you were in that state,
stayed all my
just on.
I was a fat kid. I was, you know, everything. I was, you know, that was my identity. It was my identity so much that when I lost the weight, all of our closest friends were like, hey, I didn't even look at you as a fat guy because I carried it like Tony Soprano. Like some people know how to carry it after, you know,
Right.
after years and Mr. Personality and I'm a CEO and founder. I'm surrounded by yes people. So, but yeah, it was the family. It was my wife. It was the kids. It was, you know, my son, my mom, everyone that, you know, was advocating to make me do something. And then we decided to.
It was also perfect timing. He had just exited the company that he had built for years, and it was a franchise company, and it was just perfect timing. We had our
less stress and all that, and you could focus on yourself. It sounds like, or you could focus on himself.
correct. Yes, he was basically semi-retired, and I knew that was my opportunity to swoop in and make him kind of treat it more seriously, especially now that we had a son, and the son would look up to him, right? And I was like very, very strict on eating habits and eating clean, and he would come home with French fries and mac and cheese, and I already noticed that there was going to be conflict around food, something that people bond over that was going to cause us trouble, and that cannot happen. So he understood that, he saw that, and magically he did his research and found this coach from Ireland. We invited him to live with us for about 9 months. He stayed with us. He even went on family vacation to Armenia. That's how committed we were. Yeah. They were training about 3 times a day, and his meals, every single meal was measured. Even his cheat meals were measured. So it was looked at as a science. He was in an army. He was serving his time by all means. It was very serious.
Well, Anthony, what was your mindset? What changed in your mindset to say, you know what, I'm going to do this? Like, how would you describe it?
Well, how would I describe that I said I was going to do this and that's that?
Well, you've said at one point you're like, leave me alone, I want to die, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Put in words.
2002, that's what I said. I said, in 2015, I tried to shut up my family. I did the gastric sleeve. I lost 50 pounds and then I stretched my stomach out and gained 70. But this time I made my situation worse. I now lost all my muscle mass. I started getting sleep apnea. I was drinking my calories. I couldn't even eat a steak, but yet I gained 70 pounds. So I had a sickness. It was a sickness. It was like a mental disorder, if you will. And so what ended up happening was I said, that's it. And then it was a critical moment in my life when, you know, now I had a son, and then it was me going in the hospital and my mother really on my back, and TereZa and everybody saying, what are you doing to your beautiful family? This is ridiculous. And then the stars aligned where I had met a coach, and then I communicated with a transformation person, and then I saw a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. So it was a lot of things that I did that were put in front of me to take advantage. And then I did. And then I turned it into an award-winning documentary, which set the tone for us saying, you know what, if we're going to do something, we're going to share it with the world.
I mean, what was the hardest thing about going through all that? Was it just...
The hardest thing was the surgery. You know, I have to loose skin surgery. I had a loose skin surgery. So I lost all the weight really fast. Then I was like, what am I going to do? I look like the guy from RoboCop when he threw the acid on him, you know? And then I said, what am I going to do with all this loose skin? And my coach said, you can get a loose skin surgery and compete in transformation. That's all I needed to hear. I could erase everything. It was a do-over. And I did. I did the surgery, recovered, competed, became a transformation champion. And then we did, through the docuseries Super Lollis, I became a pro. I got my pro card. My wife became a 2-time pro. Then we did more documentaries in the bodybuilding space. But we knew that it was bigger than just the outside of being healthy. You need to be healthy on the inside. So that's where the biohacking came in. And the biohacking space turned out to be the perfect storm, a perfect cocktail. You know, Bobby's in Biohack Yourself. Del Bigtree's in SHIELD. It's women, it's men. President Trump gets confirmed. You know, we have Laura Trump on the cover of Biohack Yourself magazine. Laura Trump is a
issue number 3 during the holidays for Donald Trump.
I don't know.
It'd be amazing if you could. I know he's just too busy, but imagine if you could transform Trump into like a muscle guy. That would be crazy.
Well, Trump is surrounded by the best. I mean, the thing about Trump is he's got that mind. You know, if you listen to Joe Dispenza, you know, it's that mind. The mind, when you have a strong mind, it could literally, there's studies that show that you could just be thinking about working out and there's some sort of benefits to that. Trump is, that bullet was preordained to be dodged. There's something, there's a higher level when you're talking about Trump. I mean, even when you're in his space, you feel it. It's just, it's not, and if you watch him over the course of time, you know, hindsight is 2020. This guy knew it back then, you know, and what a life.
That's a good point. Being so strong, why isn't he six-pack Trump right now?
I don't know. It doesn't need to be. I mean, you know.
There's funny memes of him looking like that, but yeah, in real life.
Well, I hope RFK is there. He can maybe influence.
Yeah, hopefully so. But what was your weight loss journey like? Like, what was so you watched Anthony transform, and I'm sure it was super inspiring and comforting to you. And then when did it kick in for you to do the same thing?
Well, so that's what I'm saying. For me, right, it's always been about eating super healthy and working out just regular, maybe cardio, yoga, or going and doing sports. But it always seemed like a longer route, especially after I had my second baby. It seemed like it was going to be 2 years or something before I would bounce back, right? They call that the bounce back. But when I watched him shed over 125 pounds in 9 months, strictly by basically science, right? Just weightlifting and meal prepping. And I was like, that's it? I never knew that world, you know, because as an athlete, you don't really know that world of bodybuilding. And yeah, so it was basically after his competition, when I watched him step on that stage, I was like, babe, this is unbelievable. You were able to do this, lose so much weight, not only lose so much weight, but gain so much muscle. And I said, that's what I need. I need to gain muscle. I was feeling frail, weak. I had my diastasis recti, and that was affecting my overall back, and I was getting tired, just regular new mom issues, right? So that if he could do it, I could do it. And also as a couple, it was something for us to do together because the kids were keeping me super busy at the time. I was managing their acting careers, modeling careers. They were very, very big bookers. Up until today, they've booked about 100 jobs combined, national commercials and Netflix movies and series and off-Broadway shows. So they were very serious. And for us to have something of ours as a couple, that was a very good getaway. We were being productive, working out together, gaining muscle together, losing fat together, and working towards competing together and spending time together. And so we loved it. Our relationship blossomed to a level that we had not touched yet at that point, which is what made this venture possible, the Biohack Yourself venture. We started filming the documentaries, which very quickly turned into a media empire and an ecosystem. We launched the website very quickly, biohackyourself.com, after we finished filming, because we were so eager to start releasing some of the shorts, some of the content in short format on Instagram and website, and writing articles about some of our cast and how fascinated we were. Because we were like, look, the documentary post-production time, it takes time. By the time it gets released, why don't we make a website and release some bits and pieces here and there so people can start taking action and healing themselves? Because we were starting to feel super good inside. Our vitals were getting better. We were drinking hydrogen water. We were purifying our water, eating healthier, eating, algae and all these protocols protocols that you watch in documentary Biohack Yourself, we started taking on. We were protecting ourselves from EMF and doing all of them, PEMF, mat, red light therapy, cold plunges, grounding. So we were like, it's not fair to let our audience wait so long. So when we did that, our Instagram just took off. As of right now, we're getting close to 11 million views every single month. And quickly we turned into a news platform. Now we have about 17 journalists reporting for us on everything longevity. You talk about run clubs, covering cold plunge clubs, covering listening clubs, covering biohacking expos, longevity expos. Now we're actually planning on launching a first of its kind biohacking fashion show where we praise the companies and designers that actually use not plastic fabrics, and they use 100% cotton and EMF clothing. Incredible way of growing on old channels. And of course, our new baby, the print magazine that is in over 6,800 retail locations across the United States and Canada. Our contributors are unlike other. They're treating this magazine as a journal. They're publishing their work. The best scientists, the hidden gems, and the companies that advertise in our magazine must be peer reviewed. So that's what we're doing now to continue the momentum of peer reviewing, bringing cutting edge technology and supplements and new discoveries to our audience that we've been growing for the past 8 years.
Okay. So what was it like interviewing the people? And were you guys biohacking as you interviewed people?
We were.
Or did you?
We weren't for the majority of the people we interviewed. We actually, again, it's experiential, right? Just like we lost weight, just like we competed, just like we went under the knife, we went into the biohacking experience with the red light therapy, the PEMF, the stem cell, the blue light blocking glasses, the brain scans, the DEXA scans, the full body scans, like everything that we interviewed, we went through ourselves down to anti-EMF shielding products, So we went and we have deep, solid, intimate relationships with some of these people in terms of we go to dinner with them, our children play together. We now do marketing and advertising and consulting for some of them. We brought our skills from the media and marketing and entertainment world into their world and helped them amplify their business, because one of the main things is they wanted to get the message out to the audience. And they were in a shadow banned environment. And you have Zuckerberg, you have Bezos, you have everybody else saying, hey, wasn't me, man, it was the government back then, whoever was in charge back then. Now I don't mind. I'll let you guys say what you need to say. I won't flag you. So these people, they almost lost their shirt during the pandemic. Yep. During that, so we came in almost as a life raft and offered an opportunity for them to amplify the message. And by no stretch of the imagination were these people unsuccessful. They're very successful in their own right, and some of them are highly academic. I mean, some of these people are headed towards a Nobel Prize. But that marketing, exit strategy, taking a company public, understanding media buying, meta ads, LinkedIn strategies, conversions, heat maps, all that kind of stuff is a different language. And most of the time, there's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing and don't know how to disseminate the message. So to answer your question, what was it like interviewing them? It was like, hey, don't say the word photobiomodulation. Don't say the word telomere. Don't say the word hyperbaric chamber without explaining.
Yeah.
We had to stop them because, you listen to an Andrew Huberman podcast with Lex Friedman and Dr. Daniel Amen, and it's meant, we
also had to bring our kids on set, okay, and have them interview some of the most renowned experts about some of the most complex topics to really get the simplified version.
That's cool. You guys literally interviewed some of the people?
Absolutely. They interviewed Steve Gundry, Dr. Daniel Amen, Zach Bush. Yeah. And I'm able to get the amazing footage, relatable, so cool, masses and understandable. Yeah.
That's great. I'm sure it made your kids very, very confident to do that they can talk to adults that probably are very intimidating to them and still ask questions. That's cool.
Yeah, well, they were professional child actors. To make the switch from being a child actor to actually, sitting down and being an interviewer, it was a different thing because there's no line. You're just asking them what you...
And capturing information and asking real questions. Yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah. Huh. So, all right. So you were doing these things as you were interviewing these people and seeing the effects. So I'm sure it made you more excited as you went along.
Absolutely.
Interviewed more
optimized too.
After every interview, we would look at each other and say, oh my gosh, we need this product. Oh my gosh, we have to do this practice. We were like kid in the candy shop. No exaggeration.
What did you see after you had been through dozens and dozens of them? Like, what kind of commonalities? You probably already said this, Anthony. They're good at what they do, but they're not good marketers. But what else did you see that was in common?
They were all came to purpose stories. All of them, they're all founder led, founder face. They all care. They really care. Like, they would give you the shirt off of their back. They don't care about making money. That's one of the things we're like, what is going on here? How are you going to stay in business? I mean, these people genuinely would, for a $20 product, will spend 5 hours explaining it. Come over your house. Like, it's nuts. And then, no matter if I give it to you, like, they're so giving. These people are not business people whatsoever. They just don't understand. Like,
They're artists.
They're artists.
They're true artists.
Okay. So once you did that, prompt another thing in your mind, like, what's, I know everyone has moves. What did it?
What we said, we got to help these people. We turned it into a media conglomerate where now we have all these different touch points. We're now a print magazine. So we take, what's in the documentary, what's on digital, and we're meeting people where their love languages. We did the Shield documentary that's coming out at the end of this year. And now we're doing a biological dentistry documentary. We discovered that the root cause of everything is in the mouth. Well, I got fat from the mouth, but it turns out that I was hurting myself. My mother was hurting herself, TereZa and TereZa's mother, from root canals, mercury fillings, cavitations, and that's all. I got friends. I'm 47. One of my closest friends, he was a former CFO of mine, just got text 2 days ago that his mom is going into assisted living. She's starting to get early onset Alzheimer's. Guess what? Billy Joel just canceled his concert, right? It's all Dr. Daniel Amen, who's on the cover of Biohack Yourself magazine, that's on shelves now, and in Biohack Yourself documentary, just posted something on Instagram saying, no, Billy, don't settle your affairs. Come to Amen Clinics, get the scan, and it could be something to do with the spine and fluid not going into your brain. You know how many things we've witnessed ourselves? Reversal of autism, reversal of Alzheimer's, simply through biohack.
That's amazing.
So, on the note of my buddy, I text him this whole thing, and now he's going to go and get scanned by Amen and see what's going on. His mother, I grew up with him. He's a good friend of mine. It's sad to see. We just came back from filming the biological dentistry. We still have like 14 more days of filming. This day 2 from Costa Rica. My mother did extensive work. I did extensive work. TereZa did some work. We're bringing TereZa's mom. So when we do a documentary, we're in it. My mother's 86 years old, getting all her teeth pulled out, getting new things implanted. TereZa's mom, like, we put ourselves through the whole experience,
Really cool.
Fascinating world, though. Biohacking is a fascinating world. The way that we look at it is that, the human species has gotten so hacked, not only currently by the environment that we're getting hacked on daily basis, the air, the water, the food, the contaminates and everything, but also generationally, starting 3 generations ago when things started getting more industrialized. And even though the first generation didn't get hit hard, their offspring got a few extra things. Their offspring got a few more things. And this generation by far has been the sickest generation. But we only say this because we haven't met the next generation, which could get even sicker if we don't clean ourselves on cellular level. And so
I've seen a few articles just this past week about, well baby exams, and they're getting jammed full of vaccines and dying. And it's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah, we just need to question everything now. We need to question, this is our bodies. We need to really understand what we're putting in our bodies, in our babies' bodies. It's not a joke anymore,
Yeah. Well, very good. Where do people start that are interested in improving their health, their family's health, and learning about all this? You have
great
questions online and everything.
They go to biohackyourself.com or Biohack Yourself Media, which our journalists are constantly posting the latest studies. Like, we are a conductor. We introduce you to the people that we vetted. We introduce you in every single category of health. You will find someone on our platform that has a podcast, that has a website, that has a solution. Most documentaries are fear-mongering and pointing the finger at somebody that did something wrong, and those things are important. Whistleblowing and all that kind of stuff, they play a role. They're very important. However, we decided to make documentaries that are solution-based. Here's a family that has issues, very common issues. A lot of people have obesity. Our daughter had a golf ball-sized lymph node on her neck. Our son was misdiagnosed 9 times, and people were saying he has on the spectrum for autism.
Right.
Had we not done this documentary based on my wife's direction, our son would have probably leaned into that because he would have taken the wrong type of treatment and the medication. Would have been down that rabbit hole. Now our son is like a best actor. He was in Martin Scorsese's daughter's movie as the star. He's interviewing people like Dr. Daniel Amen. This guy's doing 100 push-ups with Bobby Kennedy. Like, this guy's no joke. And so this is what happens when you biohack yourself. We are saving lives and changing lives in the way that we know how to do best, and we're helping people. And by the way, there's so many people who want to get on the platform. We turn them down. We're by referral only. Our contributors are the actual practitioner. Where some news organizations, they just hire a journalist. No. Our journalists are the people that we feature in our documentaries. They're the ones writing content for the platform. It's from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, that's great. Like you said, you shape your documentaries so they're experiential, so you feel like you're a part of it. You're right there, which is great. I don't know why. I remember Morgan Spurlock opening this car door and throwing up after he had like his second or third McDonald's meal. I don't know why that comes to mind, but that was just like a real visceral, it was real visceral. So I getting a feel for how you guys do it on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you forgot? No, I said you should watch them,
Yeah, no, I've seen Supersize Me. I've seen a few.
Oh, I'm talking about hours. Fat Lolli to Six-Pack Lolli, Biohack Yourself.
This trip, I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to check them out right this weekend, actually. That'd be really cool. I'm going to do that. But no, thank you guys for coming and for all you do. And it's amazing. I encourage listeners to check you guys out and see that it just sounds like there's so much information. It's like overwhelming, but Biohack Yourself seems like a huge platform. So again, I encourage listeners to check it out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was great.
If you like this podcast, please click the link in the description to subscribe and review us on iTunes.
Thank you for listening to the Good Question Podcast. Please email support@thegoodquestionpodcast.com if you have any referrals to great guests for us to interview. Visit thegoodquestionpodcast.com to hear more interviews. And please help us spread the word by rating and reviewing us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you listen to this podcast.